Africa, my brothers and sisters, today my heart is heavy, heavy not just for Burkina Faso, but for every human life suffering at this very moment. In Iran and Israel, I see cities scarred by fire, children who cannot sleep because bombs define their nights, families torn apart by endless siege. The conflict between Iran and Israel is not distant. It is not someone else's war. When Gaza bled, African youth marched in Lagos, Nairobi, Dakar, protesting occupation with banners and broken hearts. Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia. They sent convoys of solidarity toward Gaza, seeking to relieve pain and make the world see. But today, as Israel strikes Iran's nuclear and military sites, the danger intensifies. It's becoming a global crisis. In slow motion, Iran vows a harsh response. Neighboring countries brace. They know collapse could come not only in Beirut or Tehran, but rise here in Africa through proxy threats and economic fallout. Liston, South Africa, and Somalia condemned Israel's strike on Iran, calling it a violation of sovereignty. Soon the African Union removed Israel's ambassador from its summit, signaling the continent's unwillingness to accept violence as normal. We cannot remain neutral while bombs destroy cities we know all too well. Villages burned, innocent lives sacrificed for distant ambitions. When our own people's suffering went ignored, we cried. Now, we must speak, act, and stand, not as spectators, but as architects of justice. This is more than a regional war. It is a test of global justice. A test of whether we will defend principles or bow to profit and fear. When African leaders say, it threatens peace, we must ask, for whom is peace meaningful? Does peace demand silence when a hospital lies in ruins? When 500,000 Palestinians face starvation behind a blockade, Africa must not stay sick-lent. Because the same powers dropping bombs in distant lands now aim at our resources, our currencies, and our youth, but in shadows, not under headlines. They still arm militias in Africa and call it security. They still decide our fate with sanctions and borders without our people's consent. So yes, I speak not for Iran, not for Palestine, not for any single nation. I speak for Africa, for dignity, sovereignty, and a world where no innocent blood can be justified as collateral. We must declare today, 1. We demand an immediate and total ceasefire in Gaza, Lebanon, Iran, wherever civilian blood is spilled. 2. Africa stands united against violations of sovereignty, whether by bullets or sanctions. 3. We will support diplomatic dialogue, true dialogue that listens, not ignores. And 4. We commit to empowering our own continent to solve our problems. No longer will we send our soldiers to die in proxy wars, or our children to be told they are second-class victims with no voice. Young people of Africa, learn this: your voice matters. When Egyptians tried to march to Gaza, they were blocked. But their attempt echoed around the world. When South Africa took Israel to court, they stood for justice, not compromise. That is courage. Imagine if every African nation spoke with one voice in global forums. If our young stood in solidarity not just on social media, but in courtrooms, classrooms, boardrooms, halls of the UN. This war, like all wars, is a moral choice. Do we choose double standards? Or do we choose consistent justice? Africa is rising. We are saying, no more wars that redefine borders but destroy futures. No more sanctions that kill civilians but are called policy. No more occupation that kills a people and is called defense. Our continent carries scars of colonial bombs, of sanctions that starved millions. We built anyway, with courage, with sacrifice. We fought for our sovereignty, for our dignity. We will do the same now. So I stand with justice. I stand with humanity. I stand for a world where no child dies invisible. No country is blamed more harshly for standing in defense of its people. And no weapon of war is sold without the blood it spills, staining our collective conscience. Africa, this is our moment, not to look away, but to stand up, not to wait for others, but to act ourselves. Speak up at school, debate in your councils, vote in your elections, support African diplomacy, demand ceasefire, demand justice, even if they call you troublemakers, even if they dismiss you as Navi, Because history does not remember those who played along. History remembers those who had the courage to say, "This far, no further." I am not speaking for any flag except the flag of humanity. Because your future should not burn in someone else's war. May Africa rise, not just for ourselves, but as the moral conscience of the world.